What is up, internet world, and welcome back to Accelerate. I have my favorite SUV here, the all-new 2025 Audi RSQ8. Now, I filmed this 5 years ago when it first got launched back in 2020, and that video got almost 2 million views. So here I am 5 years later to bring you the all-new, I joke, because it's actually refreshed. It's an Audi, remember? They don't change much. But we are here to talk about the 2025 Audi RSQ8, thanks to Homer. So to the front, there are three main changes when looking at the exterior of this new Audi RSQ8. Number one, the laser lights. You've got these designs in them that you can change when you go in the MMI system. Number two is this trim around the front monster honeycomb grille, and that is, it's all carbon fiber, including this lower lip. And number three are these. You have illuminated Audi logos right there, and that's pretty cool. Three changes. That's the most you're gonna get after 5 years of their number one most powerful SUV. But if you have not watched my first video, this is the honeycomb grille in all black or piano black. These are front radars. This guy right here are headlight washers. On the bottom here, you do have more or a smaller honeycomb grille, and this guy over here is the license plate we have to use in Ontario, which is small, ugly, and well, we want to get rid of it. $3.55. Okay, and that is because I don't actually know how to put it in launch control. Look at this thing. It is a beast. It is still as beastly as it was back in 2020 because, well, again, not much has changed. You do have these all new 23-inch wheels with these monster Audi ceramic brakes in this particular package. It does have air suspension, so you can raise and lower it. On the side here, it is all black. When the key's in your pocket, you can simply just walk up to the vehicle, touch any of the four handles, and they will unlock. When you lock the car or walk away, the mirrors will fold in, and they are matte carbon fiber, I might add. You do have black roof rails, and of course, if you're wondering how wide these back tires are, they are Pirelli P0s, and they are 295, 35, 23. Now, before we wrap around to the back, I want to tell you how big these brakes are. They have 10 piston calipers in the front. They're 17.3 inches in diameter, the rotor is. These guys are 14.6. And yes, this does weigh almost 5,400 pounds. And these brakes are a requirement when it comes to this beast braking, especially when you have this much power under the hood. Yup. A lot of jam. Now, as we loop out to the back here, on the top you will see you have an extended upper rear spoiler with a third brake light. Of course, you have your wiper down here because this is unchanged from the Q8 or SQ8. You've got these taillights that wrap from end to end, and you have this cool design or little flicker when you indicate, like the boop, boop, boop. And you have all carbon here along this illuminated rear Audi badge. Of course, your rear camera's underneath here with a washer fluid to clean that camera. Down from there, you have the Audi RSQ8 badge. It's weird though, because I don't really like this new design. I preferred it when it was embedded into one. Nothing on this side, so maybe get rid of this and just keep that badge. That's what I would do. Now, if you're wondering what your Audi will tow, it'll tow 7,700 pounds with the towing package, which is what this one has. Now, this is the most fully loaded Audi RSQ8 you can buy. He basically ticked off every single option you could get, including the towing package. Now, on the bottom, you do have more honeycomb to match the front, more carbon fiber again to match the front and the interior, and of course, black exhaust. Here's what they sound like. Now, as far as space goes, this is going to be exactly the same as an Audi Q8, so nothing new here. The interior dimensions have not changed from the last generation, or the Q8 or the SQ8. So all this stuff is the same. But if this is your first Audi video you watched from me, you have buttons to raise and lower the rear suspension. You do have a cigarette plug. You do have a bit of storage underneath here, some netting, a tonneau cover, lots of LED lights in here so you can actually see what's going on in the tailgate. And then on the tailgate itself, you have a button that closes the trunk, as well as a button when you hit it, you walk away from the vehicle and it will automatically lock. Back seat of the Audi RSQ8. I just love that solidness when you close these doors. Amazing. Okay, so let's put this bad boy down. All right, sunshade, you go down. So it's more light in here so you guys can see me properly. So these seats are 40, 20, 40 in terms of folding down, or split seats. So if you want the seats down, you simply have a button here I can push down, and then you can have a pass through. And then for this side, you have a handle on the side. It's actually on the top here. And so you pull this down, and then you have the 60 that comes down. So 60 or 60, 40, or 40, 20, 40, whichever you decide to split it. And these seats do slide forwards and backwards. There is a handle underneath that I can pull so you have more room in the trunk. Now, when I'm back here, I do have 4-zone climate control, so I do have the ability to adjust my fan speed as well as the heat. And I do, of course, have heated seats here, heated seats here. They're not cooled, just heated. And then on the bottom there, I have 2 USB-Cs. I have some map lights here. Of course, I had sunshades, some more vents there, some speakers, carbon fiber or matte carbon fiber trim. This has the Bang & Olufsen sound system, the upgrade. It's with these sort of like aluminum grills, I would call them, or stainless steel. They're very sharp. And anyways, you do have an ashtray, which is usually sort of reserved for like European cars. But yes, this is built in Germany, which is why you have an ashtray. Anyways, I'll put this back down again because kids don't smoke nowadays. They vape. Yeah. So anyways, to the front. All right, the inside of the new Audi RSQ8. Whew, okay. I say new, but man, this ain't new at all. There's some newness, but it's not all new. So let's start off with the new version of what this Audi RSQ8 brings you. First things first is this dash. This dash is taken from the Audi A7. That's where it first was launched, and here you have it in the new Audi RSQ8. Now, Audi's kind of strange in terms of how they throw products out there in the future. So this is a 3-year-old interior, but then it's new on the 2025 RS. And they've done that all the time. You see, the RS is the top of the food chain, and the top of the food chain has the best engine, performance, all that kind of stuff, but it has kind of the worst tech because it's not the first car that comes out, it's the last car that comes out, which means it's always lagging behind in terms of like interior fit and finish and that kind of stuff and tech, right? So this is what you have here, and voila, you've got a lot of matte carbon all the way through. This one has the upgraded Bang & Olufsen that you first saw in the Audi A8. That's in those corners. They kind of pop out of the dash, nice and cute. This one has heads-up display. This one has the thinnest steering wheel in the world, and that is one thing I will beef with because Audi should really thicken up their steering wheels. Take a page out of BMW. BMW makes really thick, heavy steering wheels. Audi, nope, skinny as hell. And this one is much preferred over the Alcantara because this one has perforations. It doesn't look as skinny. When you have Alcantara, oh my, it is very skinny and odd looking in my opinion. Now it does have paddle shifters and it does have an RS button because this is obviously an RS. So the RS gives you a different gauge, like a different style of gauge to look at digitally, and it opens up the baffles to give you a bit more meat to that exhaust note. Again, this up here is all the car stuff like seats and your air conditioning. All your stuff is up here. Sorry, when I said air conditioning, it's not the HVAC controls. It's just more of the details of the car all done up here. So if we start at the top here, you have your home button that gives you your maps, Alexa, Google, that kind of stuff. All your media, all your store, everything's in here. But if you want to adjust your temperature, it's all down here. This is where the HVAC controls are, include like heated steering wheel, heated seats, air conditioning seats. These are perforated heating and air conditioning. And below that is your drive select, your different drive modes, your stability program, your 4-ways, and then of course your 360 cameras, the start and stop button, and then of course your 360 like save your life kind of vibe, which you hit it and then it keeps all the safety systems on. The one thing I do like though is Audi kept the same thing right here, your volume control. The volume control is for the passenger because I have it in the steering wheel right here, very easy to use. Boom, for me, that's for the passenger. I have 2 cup holders and a space to keep my key, and then the shifter right here. Again, this is very A7, A6, A7 right there, A8, electromechanical parking brake, and then you have the world's smallest Armrest right here, it's very, I mean, the storage under the armrest, very, very small. You do have a wireless charger there. Pretty straightforward stuff, nothing crazy. What about a USB-C? Yep, there's 2 of them there, and nice soft padding right there. So that's cool. Everything else feels good. You got Alcantara on the side. Yeah, nothing really that pops out that's crazy, just a new tech in terms of the dash. The pedals are exactly the same as the old one. The stocks are exactly the same as the old one. Like, it's all the same. Except you make more power now. So speaking of power, let's feel it out. All right, Audi fans, I'm in the 2025 Audi RSQ8 with the upgraded 631 horsepower. Let's put it in launch control. It just has over 1,500 kilometers. I will put it in drive select into dynamic, boom. I'll hit the RS button. I'm not sure if that all matters, but I will put the RS button. I will hold stability program down and hold that puppy down until it goes away and never comes back. I will make sure I'm in S1. I will put my foot to the ground, and here we go. 3.55. Okay. And that is because I don't actually know how to put it in launch control. Okay, and it's not my car, so we'll just do one of those, and that is that. So I am absolutely in love with this RSQ8. Now, obviously, it's been 5 years since I've driven the last one, and that was a terror. And this looks like a terror until I get behind the wheel, and if I put it in comfort, it is smooth. And if I put it in dynamic, it is smooth speed. Oh, that's cool. The heads-up display has, like, the green, orange, and red to shift. I like it. So Audi's just never been super aggressive in terms of suspension. It's never been bumpy or harsh. And this feels the same way. It is not that way whatsoever. It is still manageable, palatable, even with 23-inch wheels. 23-inch wheels! That is crazy. Anyways, look, this is a terror. 3.5 seconds to 60 without launch control. With launch control, I expect this thing to do it in about 3.3, 3.4 seconds, somewhere around there. Foot on the ground again. Oh. Now in RS1 mode, I have a tack in front of me that looks like this. The first vertical part goes to 3,500 RPM, and then the horizontal part goes from 3,500 RPM to about 7,000 RPM at where it redlines. And that's cool, but the cooler part is having the power and the torque percentages right next to it. So you can see how much load you have. BMW has something very similar, except it has 2 lines. Like, I just reviewed the M5, and it was like that. This one is circular with sort of like a circular dial that revs up and revs down, and I prefer this. It's just easier to read, easier to see, and more aggressive than just like these lines, even though the tack is these lines. I don't know, I prefer the circles. I just prefer circles over lines. What do you guys think? Now, driving the 2020 to the 2025, I feel like the 2025 is a little bit quieter, and that might have something to do with the restrictions they have with exhaust and environmental restrictions of sorts. I just feel like it's not as loud as I expected it to be. It's a little bit quieter. Now, I can hear it, and I can hear that the shifting is also as crisp. I can hear all those things with the 8-speed transmission, but I can't hear it as loud. Listen. Like, you can hear it, but you can't really hear it. You know, like, it needs to be louder, a little bit more oomph, a little bit more cabin noise. Maybe just remove some insulation in the trunk or something. Give me some corners, Audi. Give me some corners. Oh, man. Just holds the road like a machine. And you know what's cool about the Audi? Is that it's like understated. Nobody knows. It's such a sleeper. Nobody really notices. It just kind of does its thing, rolls around, and then when it stops and it's parked and you walk past, you're like, what is that? It looks like a bad machine. And that's why people buy it. People don't want to be super ultra flashy, be like, I bought a Urus. Even if they were going to spend the 100K, the RSQ8 is just a good daily sleeper. But not only is it a sleeper, it is a better looking sleeper than the X6, in my opinion. The X6M is just too top heavy looking. It doesn't look rounded. It just doesn't look complete. This looks great from every angle. No matter which angle you're at, it looks great. It just looks mean, bad, and anybody and everybody that's talked about an Audi RSQ8 has always loved it. Never a bad thing to say about it. Maybe the only thing they can say about it, it's an Audi, you know, it's not a real super SUV, let's call it. But what about the Cayenne GT? Well, it's way more money. The only thing that's close is the BMW X6M. That's the closest thing to this. There's nothing really as close, besides obviously the Urus, but it's way more money. So what are you gonna buy? An Audi RSQ8 or a BMW X6M? And for me, I don't know, the outside of this just looks money. The BMW interior is definitely more appealing if you like something that's more flashy and just more like value spent. This is just very clean, very simple, very timeless, but the BMW is more flashy, more in your face, more like when you spend the money on the BMW, you feel like I spent the money and I got the money. When you spend money on this, you feel like, yeah, I spent the money, but I could have bought one that was like 2 years old. Nobody would have known the difference, except for the headlights and the extra 40 horsepower. Boom! It sounds so sick. Because remember, this has a top speed of 190 miles an hour. 190 miles an hour, I can't even speak. It is crazy. And it's just like anybody can drive it. That's the ease of driving this. It's not like, as I said, if you bought the Urus, everybody can drive it? Not really. People be afraid to drive it. But this is a daily. You can just jump in it, drive it. It looks sick. It does hold some decent value. Obviously, it's not going to be like the rental car game. When you buy the Urus, you can rent it out for big money. Could you do that in RSQ8? You could, but not as, not the pull that the Urus is going to get. But I don't know. I've always thought the Urus is sick when it first came out. But now I see Urus and I'm like, I don't know, man. Too many cuts, too many lines. It's lost its styling, if that makes any sense. It's sort of a style that has a lot of impact, a lot of punch off the bat. But now that it's been around for a while, I found like this look is just way more timeless, and this will still be good in 10 years, whereas the Urus will be like, a little bit too choppy. Especially when you have brands like, I'm not going to say it, but other brands, lower economy brands that are making very choppy looking cars. That's the problem. It's not timeless anymore. So anyways, that's my review on this 2025 Audi RSQ8. I want to give a big shout out to Homer for letting me borrow his brand new car that he just got, that he spent over 200,000 Canadian dollars are with our luxurious luxury tax. So that's that. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and we'll catch you on the next one.